All right. Ready when you are. You know what you're ready to say. You know what you want to do.
Huh?
You know what you want to say. You know what you want to do.
I know exactly what to say and what to do.
All right. And a 1.
Are you going to step over that and come over here
I'm going to walk
when the
around.
time has come?
Yeah,
Why
because
have to go all the way around that?
Because if I go, I'll block you, and I'll all of a
You
sudden
couldn't go over to the side?
I guess I could do that, but it'd be just it would be cool because then I'd be coming.
I just have to sit here and try to figure out where she went and all of that.
All right. She'll get out. Okay.
Well, how about that?
I can do it. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Sure.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
Hello everybody. Once again, this is Odie Hawkins speaking to you. We're continuing the international book tour, which is what I'm calling it, because hopefully the interviews that we're doing, the things that we're doing will reach an international audience. This evening, I would like to start us off by talking about a book, as usual. I'm going to be going through these books over the course of the next 30 days. So if you have friends who would like to be introduced to something new, I'm writing in a mishmash of genres, and you know, they're not all mystery novels, they're not all historical novels. The one I was talking about last night, for example, might be called a historical novel. Shackles Across Time, the drawing made by yours truly, and by her, Zola Salena-Hawkins, the very same person who is videoing this interview. Yeah, tonight I thought I would talk a little bit about the street genre.
Okay, and who is that?
Yeah.
Mr. Sweets?
The title of this particular work is Mr. Sweets. And
one more time, we're going in to see Mr. Sweets. He's a mystery figure.
Mr. Sweets. Yeah. Let me tell you how this started. I wrote 17 books for a now defunct publishing company called Holloway House. Holloway House was noted for what they wanted to call street genre. What that meant is that any black author who had a book published by them was considered to be somebody writing about life in the streets. I decided to play a little joke and invent a character named Peter Manson, who had a son named Sweet Peter Dieter. Sweet Peter Dieter gave birth to a son named Mr. Sweets. Mr. Sweets gave birth to a son, who had a son named, what is the last name? Little Sweets. Little Sweets. The Lil Sweets is the 4th member of a dynasty of pimps that I invented. And that is what this particular book is about. This is the 3rd member of the dynasty, Mr. Sweets.
Okay.
The book is an inside look at a life that I've never been a part of, but I should say, privileged to be around for many years. And one of the ways that I can bring Zola Salena into this is to have her step around that obstacle and come in to talk about.
Well, if we're going to talk about that one. We have to talk about this one first.
I was going to take them in the chronological order.
Oh, I see.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on to that too.
All right.
The reason I brought her in, and she just suddenly disturbed my whole order of things, was to say that she's the person who did the photograph.
Oh, the DJ.
She's wearing one of my favorite Cuban hats. And also, oh, did you see this?
Oh, this
is me.
yes, okay.
She wasn't supposed to say that either, so I might have had my cover blown off. I'm just kidding. We planned this a long time ago. But
TJ did the photo.
both front and back covers. All right. Now it's time for me to have you take you off for a little bit. Tell me a little bit about this cover.
Well, let's see. Okay, well, DJ Robinson did the cover, a friend of ours, and
He was a photographer.
he was the photographer, but we set it up because we felt it was symbolic of the lifestyle. The hat, the ring, the cognac glass, all of that.
That whole
was part of it.
You got a cheap watch on that's supposed to look like it's $1 million.
Yeah, a Rolex or something more
Okay.
ostentatious. But, we like the photo. It's sort of mysterious type thing, setting it up. And the fact that we couldn't really ask for a pimp to come and, can we take a picture of you? For the cover. And so they said that, as you were saying, that he is the son of...
Get them in order. Pizza Mansion.
Yes,
Sweet
Peter Mansion.
Dieter.
Peter Mansion is mentioned in Sweet Peter Dieter, the first of the trilogy of the Sweets. And yes, and so
okay, a friend of mine in New York who would not like to be identified beyond his
Sir Charles.
his name is, we call him Sir Charles, and I'll let it go at that. But he knew the life much, much more intensely and much more vividly than I did, so he was the perfect person to do the cover for that.
And we did, the background was in the, what club? It was the club you took to me in Chicago.
There's a club in Chicago called the President's Lounge. It's on 79th Street. For you Chicagoans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Used to be a place where some very fast people hung out. Anyway, this is one of the genres that I've made it my business to, yes.
I'm going to read these.
Yeah, you read that one, I'll read this one.
Okay. For Sweet Peter Dieter, the synopsis reads, Peter knew how to pimp. By the time he was 12, taught by his whore mother. She taught him a few other things along the way, things that his friends would know about until they were much, much older, if ever. Then he was given over to the care of his father, Big Duke. Now Big Duke was not just your average run-of-the-mill pimp, no way. Big Duke was the cock of the wall.
Hard for you to say?
Yes, cock of the wall, with a stable of the best bitches in the city. It was with Big Duke that Peter, the 12-year-old prince, began his real education. He was a good student, sharp and fast. By the time he was 16, Peter was running his high school drug traffic and had himself a string of teenage whores. By 18, Peter was a full-fledged pimp and began the long downward spiral of the drug addict. Sweet Peter Dieter is, as one critic called it, an altogether getting down masterpiece by Odie Hawkins.
First off, I have to say this now and make it very clear from the very beginning. I am a descendant of one of the royal houses of African American pimping. Let me repeat that. I am a descendant of one of the royal houses of African American pimping. Let me add, I'm a proud descendant. I know what I'm about to tell you is going to rustle some feathers. Make no mistake about that. But that's the way it's been with me all my pimping life. When I say I'm a descendant of one of the royal houses, I mean it. I can back it up with some bona fide DNA genealogical evidence. Now then, having said that, I want to make it clear that my economic / sexual activities stem directly from my introduction to The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli.
Oh.
Yeah.
Heavy reading.
Bad boy. He's,
Yeah.
oh God, Niccolo Machiavelli.
I read the book, yes.
And my lifelong, and the Kama Sutra, I forgot to add that.
Oh, okay.
That love treatise for the ages. And my lifelong dream to explore an area of human endeavor that has seldom been explained in any reasonable way. I'd like to make that the linchpin word for this book. Reasonable.
Okay.
Now then, having said that,
Sweet Peter Dieter.
Sweet Peter Dieter,
also known
as one of my critics
Mr.
once
Sweets.
read it, Mr. Sweets,
Okay.
and Sweet Peter Dieter,
And Mr. Sweets.
and Mr. Sweets are just simply incredibly crude books. That's what the critic said. He said to me, Mr. Hawkins, I've read that book. How could you read that to your wife at night? What did she say?
Interesting.
All I said to him was, she goes to sleep the way she does every night. What does your wife do when you read to her? Just kidding a little bit. But anyway, these are two books from the street genre. Can I take your book?
Definitely from the street genre. And
Definitely from the street genre. You know, people who've been privileged or not privileged, depending on how you look at it, they have come up a certain way, have a tendency to try to ignore where they come from when they reach a certain level of whatever. I've never done that.
But what is unique about these pimp books is that it's not hardcore sexual. It's,
Sophisticated.
yes, it is sophisticated. In fact, the thought of women of the streets learning Tai Chi.
Hoes. You talking about hoes.
Okay, hoes.
I'm sorry, Horace.
Whores. Okay.
I love the way you read this when you're reading it. These with horse. I'm sorry.
All right.
Let's
now.
keep a straight face.
Yes. Well, you know, the fact that,
Love your dress. Where did that come from?
okay, my mother gave this dress to me many years ago.
Your
and
mother gave you that dress and
Yes.
these pieces too?
indeed, right.
Let's get to the pieces first. But the
They
dress,
were
it looks
Moroccan.
it looks Moroccan. Yeah, that's what
She-
attracted
she
me.
tried.
Anyway, I interrupted you. Were
Okay.
saying.
Well, the fact that the pimp would have his whores learn Tai Chi
Yes.
and eat a sophisticated diet. And then
Hoes need to be
eventually-
in good shape.
Yes, okay.
I mean,
Okay.
yes, good shape.
Okay, and so the original Sweet Peter Dieter is just a little cruder than Mr. Sweets.
That's one of the things I was looking at as each generation came along, as each member of the dynasty came along. He was a little bit more sophisticated than the previous one. For
Like-
example, in the latest one that I'll talk about, he winds up with the help of a Japanese engineer, robot expert, designing 4 robo-hose.
Yes.
Yes, spring, summer, winter, and fall. And they are so realistic. The Japanese are good at this. They are so realistic that all they need from time to time is maybe a change of screw. Did I say that?
Yes, whatever.
No pun intended.
No
But
pun intended.
that's all they need from time to time. And maybe a little oil.
Okay.
A little oil.
Moving right along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, those are the books. I'm going to leave it go at that. During the course of the tour that we're making, what we're also making an effort to do is introduce some beautiful African art that was given to us by Zola's mother, Queen Jewel Gray, who passed at 92 several months ago.
September.
She lives. She decided that we would make great caretakers of an art collection that she acquired while working as the public health nurse in West Africa. I believe these pieces come from Nigeria, but we're having a museum person come and tell us exactly what we need to know about them. Last night, yesterday, we introduced...
Night before last, we introduced this one.
I don't know what the look of them is on video, but up close and personal, they are powerful figures to be near. There's a sense of power you feel, not just about the figures themselves who are armed, but just the strength of what they convey.
Yeah, both of them. This one has a shield, and that has a shield, and then this one.
I think this is a short jabbing sword.
This
is a spear.
Yeah, that's a spear, and okay, maybe it's okay.
They had invented a short jabbing.
Okay, is that a short jabbing sword?
It's the same here.
Oh, okay, except it got holes in it. Okay, and then what would that shaky thing?
Well, this is the thing we have to get to, because they are obviously mythological figures, and I'm sure that someone out there knows much more than we do about them. We're learning, but as you can see, they represent mythological figures. I do know that one of the pieces we'll be showing in the coming week, perhaps, is definitely an Eshu figure, or as he's known in some places as Legba.
Yeah. And this one looks like really the warrior's head, eyes are all intense and fierce, even though he's got a smile on his face. And this one looks like a young man who just realized he's been assigned for the army or military. And looks a little bit innocent with wide eyes and like, what is going to happen now?
What's going to happen, I suspect, is that these implications that we're casting on these figures will either have some truth to them, or we'll be completely wrong.
Yeah.
In any case, I don't care one way or the other. I just simply enjoy being in their presence.
Yes.
We've enjoyed being in your presence.
And I hope you've enjoyed us as well.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
See you in a minute.
All right.
Okay.
Next time.
Where
we going from here? Singapore?
Who knows? We'll have to tell them when we come around next time.
I think we ought to go to Africa, because...
Oh, most definitely. I do love
Tell you what,
Africa.
I'll see you in Accra.
Ah, Accra.
I'll see you in Accra.
At the Acacia Lodge?
Excuse me?
At the Acacia Lodge?
How do you know that place?
Oh, I like that place.
It's in Hatsu.
Yes.
Right? Just a little suburb outside of Accra.
Right, okay.
But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that while we're there.
Fantastic.
Acacia Lodge.
Yes.
Oh.
Miss y'all. Bye for now.
Ciao.
Ciao.